Good morning, my neighbours!
Ladies and gents, it's Thursday. It's a gorgeous morning and it's time for an alternative paper review. First up to the Daily Mirror this morning, the front page, it's an important story, the most important story in the world, a game of foot and ball. Now, I know that it might sound like I'm being a bit snarky, a bit snarkastic about this, but I'm not. You know, I fully accept that this is the most important, urgent, breaking news story, and that is why it's on the front page there, guys. And if I sound a bit miffed, it's only because the Daily Mirror have bumped my other interest in the royal family off of the front page for a change. There's no mention of William or Harry or Kate or Charles. Where are they? And are they okay? On a semi-serious note, though, if you're into football, if you're all about the Euros and the World Cup and all of that, good for you. That's fine. Everybody needs their thing, their escape from the chaos and despair of the modern world. You know, I don't want to step into your area of interest, your escape, and mock it and make it more miserable and shitter, but reciprocally, alcohol and the pub are my areas of interest. They are my escapes. And do you know who's been there ruining it the last 5 times I've been in there? Yeah, fucking football fans! And as a father of 2 young children who habitually bankrupt me and kick me in the balls, my escapes are essential. Which is how I'm able to spend an hour of each day reading about how terrible the world is, but come away from it feeling like I've had a little rest. Should football be on the front pages of the newspapers? Probably not, but I am here for the recourse that it affords us to bum rush security and get on camera for Match of the Day and start ranting about Tories. Over to the Daily Express now. Just lock them up! This is a story that Just Stop Oil protesters let off some gas canisters and vandalised Stonehenge yesterday. With similar sensibilities being shared by the hyperbolic dementia fountain that is the Daily Mail. So there's 2 ways of looking at this story, right? If you are a Daily Mail journo or a Telegraph columnist or whatever, you're going to look at this like, look, these things are sacred. These are basically statues, and oh my goodness, do we love statues. People come from all over the world to see these things. They're one of the wonders of the world. There's none other like them. It's the oldest clock on the planet, and you have just vandalised it on a day off from theatre school. What is wrong with you? Then you've got the Just Stop Oil take on it, which is essentially that nothing is safe if we don't start getting a handle on the climate crisis, guys. You know, if we don't stop burning fossil fuels, if we don't start trying to live sustainably, then the curtain is coming down, people. It's all... In fact, the irony is, these things probably will survive. Albeit in a significantly more orange rebrand or iteration. Looking like they've got a sponsorship deal with Metrobank or J. Sainsbury's. Honestly, guys, I saw the footage of it yesterday crop up on my Twitter and then later on Sky News. And it was actually quite shocking. You know, it really saddened me. Like, I didn't feel joy at seeing the orange spray paint all over these stones. Like, I actually think it's the most tragic instance of seeing something spray painted orange since that woman I saw sitting in seat 23D on the flight from Luton to Malaga. Over to the Times now. Tories set to suffer worst poll defeat for 100 years. Yeah! Break out the wine and cheese and pints of champagne. It does not get any better than this. Over to the Eye now. Tories despair as poll signals worst defeat in 200 years. Wow, I guess it does then. So we're taking the Tories back to 1824, are we? Rees-Mogg will be happy. Tory wipeout screams. Highly regarded newspaper of record and conspiracy theory fanzine, the Daily Telegraph. I mean, between Lawrence Fox's well-documented legal problems and, more recently, Joey Barton's and the Tories' electoral doom that they're facing, it really feels like we're living through a period that some people would call, you know, fuck around and find out, right? But I like to term bonfire of the bellends. But would you like one more, as we're sort of discussing the Daily Telegraph anyway? Well, okay then. So, the Telegraph was historically owned by the Barclay Brothers, but the Telegraph Media Group or newspaper or whatever kind of ran out of money. And so then the administrators were called in because presumably the Barclays either couldn't or would not put any more money into that business. So it's like Ernst & Young or Deloitte or whatever. They took control of it. They were like, look, we will keep you running. We are basically running the Telegraph now, but ultimately we're going to find you a new owner. And so you might have read about a Saudi consortium with a guy at CNN who was putting in a bid for it. You may also have read about Paul Marshall, formerly of GB News fame, one of their major bankrollers. He was going to buy it. But the problem with bringing in a huge audit and accountancy firm to manage your administration while you find a new buyer is those audit and accountancy firms will probably audit your accounts. And what have they found in the nooks and the crannies, in the depths, in the weeds of the Telegraph's accounts? Well, it could be nothing, but it does look a bit funny. Check this out. Telegraph warning: over £278 million of payments to the Barclay family companies. Wait, so they just took almost £300 million out of this newspaper, what, before it collapsed? No, but not necessarily. You know, it could be a plausible explanation. All right, let's read on, shall we? The publisher of the UK's Telegraph newspaper warned of potential irregularities as it disclosed close to 300 million extracted by the Barclay family that pushed the media group into a big loss. So if that's accurate, that is like the Barclays going, just take almost £500 million out of it. Oh, print journalism is so hard to make money out of these days. Does anybody want to buy this newspaper? It says accounts published on Wednesday showed that the Telegraph Media Group, at the centre of a protracted and politically fraught auction process, took a £278 million provision for amounts paid to its parent companies owned by the Barclay family. The money may never be paid back, the group said in a statement. And here's the bit that'll really pickle the onions of Telegraph columnists. Anyone that still works at the Telegraph now who is riddled or saddled with financial and professional insecurity, right? Did you know that the year that they took that money out, 2023, that money that they took out is more than the loss that they made that year, which, if you're not mathematically minded, means that had they not taken that money out, the Telegraph would still be in the green. Which means, as a direct result of a lack of financial regulation and transparency, which your newspaper always lobbies against, you too will now be thrown on the scrap heap. That's capitalism, thanks for playing. I mean, it is shocking, guys. Really shocking stuff. And honestly, the front page is probably the right place for it. I mean, unless Kate's wearing a really nice polka dot dress or there's an important football game on, obviously.